Oh, hello. Hidden Hermit here. Hey, how would you like to talk about the Two of Wands? Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so the Two of Wands is a really special card. Let me explain. First of all, let's get the setting out of the way. The Two of Wands is, of course, associated with the Suit of Wands, which is fire. It is ruled by Aries, which is accompanied by the Emperor. And Mars is associated with this, which is associated with the Tower. So the Two of Wands, Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It is associated with the first decan of the astrological year, which runs from the 20th or the 21st of March to the 30th of March, which means it's at the beginning of the astrological year. It's almost the first numbered card in many ways. And the image here on the Waitsmith, you see this guy here, who I like to think is a baby emperor. Yeah, he's a young emperor, and he's got the world in his hands. He's looking out from some battlements, and I like to think it's the battlements of a tower. And he's plotting. He may very well be plotting world domination, or indeed he could very well be just making plans of that sort, if you like. Now, in this decan, Mars and Aries. Mars is exalted in Aries. These guys get on. These guys are buddies. So all the negative feelings you have for the Tower are kind of thrown out the window. The Tower here is a fortification. It's something. It's refuge, if you like. It's somewhere in which you can make plans and you can build on those plans to a certain extent. So we're going to do what I usually do. I'll go through all the decks I have. Well, not all of them. Most of the decks I have. We're going to see some of the imagery from some of the decks. They're in their little groupings. The imagery that is the same as the Waitsmith. I'll go through the Hermetic, the Dark decks, the Beautiful decks, and finally the Curveballs. So now some of the keywords associated with the Two of Wands: riches, fortune, magnificence. Dominion is a big one. We'll get onto that once we get to the Hermetic decks. Superiority, partnership is one. We'll get to see that. Plans, travel, success by understanding opposites. There are also some other association. The weight of the world. Here, the weight of the world for this guy isn't a problem because he's holding it up. You've also got some other imagery in there. This is a very interesting image. Down here, you have a red rose, which is suggesting passion, white lilies that suggest purity, and then a cross. And it has been suggested by some people, and I'm not sure why, but it's in the cross of St Andrew. Now, being someone who lives in Scotland, I'm very familiar with the cross of St Andrew, and well, there's no blue there for a start. But apparently it symbolises the harmony of rule and justice, which is good. It's great. Now, some of the negative attributes, if you're into reversals, or if, like me, you're into dignification, some of the negative aspects could be surprise, wonder, enchantment, hastily made plans, a sense of you shouldn't mess it up, lofty goals, insufficient efforts, stuck in your old ways, hesitation, contradiction events, sadness, stagnation, fear, domination by others, which is probably an interesting one since the card means dominion. So domination by others could be a bit of an issue. Divided attention, unable to think creatively, and disillusionment. Now, interestingly, in one of the older European decks, the Attilia deck, which predates the Waitsmith imagery, this card was really negative. It was about dark thoughts and sorrow and things like that. But that seems to have been forgotten in the mists of time, because generally we look at the Two of Wands as a pretty good card. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other imagery. First of all, so I'm just getting all my Waitsmith imagery here. Let's go with the Witch's Tarot. Here is a wizard. He is again on the same sort of battlements. He's looking out across these battlements. Interesting, you do have a ship on the horizon, which is reminiscent of the Three of Wands, but we'll get to that some other day. You've still got this globe, although I'm just going to get a closer look. Yes, no, that is the Earth. It looks a bit like the moon, but no, that is the Earth. I can see South America there. There's also a cat there. Who knows why there's a cat there? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the fact that it's the number 2, which could also be associated with the High Priestess. There may be an element of intuition. And of course, the number 2 kind of alludes to balance and choice. Maybe. Okay, so here we have the Dreaming Way Tarot. Again, a very similar image. You still got that, the world in the hand, the 2 wands that are quite upright. I'm not sure what's going on with the fields in the sky. I don't know. And I'm not sure what's going on with the straitjacket either. Maybe this is suggesting that you've got to sort of break free of the restraints, if you like. I seem to think that she's wearing, and I see a she here, I think she's wearing chef trousers as well. So maybe she needs to, I don't know, quit her kitchen porter job? Run her own restaurant? I don't know. I usually get these 2 decks confused, the Dreaming Way and the Mystic Dreamer. Here's the Mystic Dreamer. Again, you've got somebody out there. He looks like he's very intent on his plans. Now, as you may or may not be aware, I'm not a big fan of this deck because it tends to throw things in that just to confuse me. I think it's just me. It's just confusing me. You've got this open box down there. It's got a book in it. What the hell does that mean? Also, the moon. The Mystic Dreamer deck loves the moon. The moon's thrown in there willy-nilly all the time. But yeah, so he's also got... There's lights on these wands, which is really good. He's also holding a light in his left hand. I see a he here, which could very well symbolise that globe, if you like. Good for the Mystic Dreamer. It's a weird deck. I won't lie. Game of Thrones Tarot. Here's Daenerys. Daenerys, interestingly, is also the Empress in this deck, but you get the same. You get the same imagery. They're called spears in the Game of Thrones deck. So you've got the 2 spears. She's looking out. I've got a very strong feeling that this is pre the Marine invasion. So perhaps she's looking out across the Bay of Marine, thinking, "Yep, that's all mine now." And there's Drogon. I like to think that's Drogon. We all could do with a dragon in our decks every now and then. I think this is a good time to show you the After Tarot. I do love the After Tarot. It's an interesting concept. So you have the same image. But this guy has been joined by a companion. And the 2, this could allude to the 2. And one of the other keywords could be companionship or making plans with somebody else. I think this is a lovely, lovely image because they're in harmony here. She pops along. He's like, "Oh, honey, I want to dominate the world," and she's like, "Yep, okay, we'll do it together." I love it. The other thing I'd like to say about the After Tarot is the book that comes with it is phenomenal. It's really good, really, really good. I haven't read it all yet, but so far it's been amazing. Similar to the Rider-Waite, you have the Cosmic Tarot. Excuse me. You got a Conquistador, and look at him. He's up for it. He's up for whatever challenge he's about to embark on. Cracking image. I love it. I wonder what the significance of the line of birds in the background is. There seems to be 7. I'm not sure if there's going to be a significance there, but there you go. This guy's up for it. He's up for whatever he's about to do. I'm just going on a wee tangent here. This is the Mythic Tarot. This is the 2nd edition of the Mythic Tarot, and you've got something interesting going on with these cards. For starters, here's the Emperor, and of course Aries rules these particular 3 decans. The decan of 0 degrees to 10 degrees Aries, and the Emperor here is holding the world, which we have seen already in the 2 of Wands. He has his eagle. Eagles are often associated with the Emperor. And I'm pretty sure this is Zeus because he's holding thunderbolts. But what's also interesting is the Ace of Wands. You have another Emperor type figure. You've got the ram's head of Aries, and he's also holding a globe. And that's the Ace. And the 2 of Wands is something completely different. Now, the Mythic Tarot draws from a lot of mythology, a lot of Roman, Greek, a lot of Hellenistic mythology. And I like to think I know mythology quite well, but then mythology, Greek and Roman mythology, it's got a lot more depth. There's a lot more going on than just the average stories that we know about. So I'm not sure what's going on in here. This guy seems to be going out with his 2 wands, and that in the background is the Hierophant, who's sending him on his way. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't have the book for the Mythic Tarot, and I really should get one, because I flick through that deck and I don't understand it. I don't get it. So yeah, something interesting going on there with the Mythic Tarot. You got repeated imagery of what we're used to in the 2 of Wands, but something else is going on. That's just a little tangent there. Oh, and another little tangent. I've got my Aries and Mars dice going on. My Bloodstone, a little pile of hematite, red jasper, and my awesome chunk of emerald, which is also associated with April and Aries. I do like my tangents as well. Okay, so let's do the Hermetic decks. First of all, we'll go with the Golden Dawn Ritual Magic Tarot, and yeah, so you got your Mars, you got your Aries, you got your 2 crossed wands, you got fire and fire, and you have the title Dominion. Dominion over others, because Mars is in Aries. It is a very, very powerful card, but because they're mates, it's a very positive thing as well. It's probably a good time to mention the Kabbalah influence. The 2 of Wands is positioned on Chokmah in Atziluth, which means wisdom and inspiration, and will in its most exalted form. And that's what the top deck tells us, or at least I got that out of the book of top. Again, 2 crossed wands, Mars, Aries, fire. You got these big bold red colours, but yes, lots of fire. If we look at the Hermetic Tarot, again, almost exactly the same imagery. Just going to put you over there. Crossed wands, Aries and Mars, fire everywhere. And yeah, and this does relate to the Kabbalistic ideas. I do consider the Night Sun to be a Hermetic deck, mostly because you still got Mars and Aries, but this is a cracking image, as are most of the images in the Night Sun. Not that I'm biased or anything, you know, it's my favourite deck. But over here, so you've got this woman on her 2 wands, and she's towering above this pool, and this teeny tiny little plant is just sprouting through. That's the idea. That's the creative spark, I feel. And she's towering. Again, you get the tower. You got this nice red palette, and she's looking down on it, and she's pondering it, and she's thinking, "Yeah, I've got an idea. Here's my idea." Cha-ching! Awesome. Okay, now we'll go on to the beautiful decks. First, let's look at Shadowscapes. Again, I've said this a billion times, but I do feel that the Shadowscapes is a deck that's geared more towards beautiful art than tarot interpretations. But you still got this person. He's on top of a lion stroke unicorn. There are cats. There's tribal imagery in there. But he's looking out from a vantage point, looking to the future, hopefully making some sort of plans. It is beautiful. It is really nice. It's very shiny. I guess the imagery is kind of Rider-Waite-y, but with added stuff put in there. Let's look at the Line Strider. You still got the 2 erect wands. You still got that globe down here. And it's a hare. The hares are associated with spring. Hares and rabbits, they do like the spring. They do what they do best in the spring, which is make more hares. It's a cracking image. The Line Strider is a really good deck, but it does require a lot of thought and meditation over some of the images. I don't know if you've ever seen a hare in real life. They are scary. They're huge, and they wobble about. They're like rabbits with super back legs. But yeah, I do like that image. Again, very reminiscent. 2 wands, the globe, and he's looking out. He's looking out. I have a plan. Let's make more hares. Here's the Wild Unknown. The Wild Unknown, it's a brilliant deck. It's not for the beginner. A lot of the imagery is very abstract, and the Wild Unknown really does tend to focus on the inner life of the person reading the cards. I feel, and the Wild Unknown, it seems to suggest determination and direction, and the quality and tone of your internal thoughts when it comes to the Two of Wands. Again, it's pointing towards the future. I feel it almost makes a road, I think. So, you know, you're about to embark on this big journey, and all credit to you, I think. That's what I think it's trying to say. Yeah, there are other keywords there as well, like investment, independence, long-term plans, lane plans, like you're laying a road, travel, etc., etc. I like it. Here's the Fountain Tarot. The Fountain seems to focus on the element of choice, and I realise the light in here doesn't really give this justice. It's a hand holding two wands, or what I see chopsticks, and you still got that sort of globe. It's not obvious that it's the planet Earth, but you know what it's alluding to. You really do. Again, it's a beautiful, beautiful card, and at this point I'd like to bring out the Fountain's Emperor, because these cards are just so striking. Look at that. And the significance of the cubes, I do not know. Maybe it's got something to do with 4, because the Emperor is number 4. You've got this really cool red palette. So the Emperor is Aries, and this tower is such a cool card. It could be smoking, it could be on fire. It's not being hit by that bolt of lightning, but so yeah, associated with this decan, Aries in Mars. How you get this from these two, I couldn't honestly tell you, but it looks great. It looks amazing. Let's be honest. Okay, so let's move on to the darker decks now. So let's start with Dark Grimoire. Now, the Dark Grimoire, it has kind of a slightly different bent with its suits. Here we have, oh, there's the Deviant Moon poking out. Wait your turn. My goodness. Again, you see two people here. We're going back to that idea of companionship, and they're making plans. He's got a map or something in front of him, and I realise that my camera is not focusing well on this card. So you still get that idea of making plans. You're yet to put the plans into motion, and you've got an idea of companionship here as well, which is kind of nice. Why not, eh? Why not? The Deviant Moon, we can't stop him now, can we? We can't stop him. Excuse me. The Deviant Moon here, the Deviant Moon is a dark deck, and a lot of the images are quite creepy and scary, but I really like this one for the Two of Wands. This is a farmer. The farmer's using his wands here to plant some seed. He's harnessing the power of the wands to plant some seeds. In fact, he's using the two wands in such a harmonious way that he's getting stuff done. Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. And interestingly, the moon appears on every image in the Deviant Moon, I believe, and this one is on his jacket. But yeah, look, it looks like he's planting garlic. Cool, 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 cool. Look at me shaking there. I'm leaning on my elbow. I do like the Deviant Moon. Okay, so let's go on to the curveballs now, shall we? Here is the Santa Muerte. I know I can't pronounce it. And what you've got here, it is wands, but you can't see any wands. He's got two guns, and you've got an image of a bandit here. Now, the Santa Muerte seems to focus on the fact that there could be conflict. In the Santa Muerte, every card has advice from the dead, and the advice here is evaluate what is the best way in which you can act to terminate a situation of conflict and rivalry that makes you restless and unhappy. So, yeah, we're going with that idea of the two, of making the choice, if you like. And the twos are about choices, and the Two of Wands doesn't really... It kind of assumes that you've already made the choice and you're already going for it. But this is one of the cards that does seem to focus on that choice, and indeed a choice to avoid conflict. It is a beautiful deck. It's very shiny, as you can see. There's a lot more hidden imagery in there, I am absolutely sure. The flowers, and of course it's done by Fabienne Lestani, who did the Night Sun, so I do like it. I need to explore the Santa Muerte in a lot more detail. once the time is right, I think. Here is the Archeon. Now, the Archeon, again, is another curveball deck. In fact, I call it the curveball deck because a lot of the imagery is counterintuitive to a lot of traditional card meanings. Now, the Archeon, the subtitle for this card is "By Their Light, She Made Her Way Through the Forest of Deceit." Interestingly, the keywords and the associations in the Little White Book are exactly similar to what we've been talking about here. So, you know, making plans, creating plans, finding that direction, finding the determination. So this rather naked lady is clearly using the wands to make her way out through a dark forest. So again, it's strange imagery for the card associations, but not bad at all, I don't think. Again, another very shiny card. So that's pretty cool. The Quantum deck. Here is the Quantum deck. Now this shows, it's less of a curveball. It's just, you know, again, very, very original, different imagery. You've got your two wands that look like comets. And the subtitle for this card is Planet Formation. I suppose, I mean, yeah, planets are formed out of great big discs of dust and rock. This guy down here who's like, wow, look at that. And yeah, so you do get the sense that something big is happening. A whole planet is being formed, in fact. Again, now, you can't really see it. In fact, there isn't much. Now, if you look on that planet, you've got this embossed bit. All the cards in the Quantum deck are embossed. It's great. It's cracking. I love it. But yeah, very striking card. Again, you get a very good sense of positivity from this card. Okay, so finally, the final curveball one, and I thought I'd take a bit of a chance here. Here is the Tarot of Sexual Magic. A deck that is geared specifically to sexy things, and the subtitle to this card is The Magic of Sliced Bread. I love it. You can use this deck as a traditional deck, but the imagery and the associations are geared towards something quite specific. The only reason I can show you this deck is there's nothing crazily naughty going on, and I think it suggests that you've got to learn how to share your food without losing oneself, which is a nice thought, I think. But I thought I'd throw that in there just for the hell of it. Finally, associated with the decan of 0 degrees to 10 degrees Aries, which is the Two of Wands, is the court card of the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands here is helping us birth the new year. You've got that association with spring and the watery part of fire. I just thought I'd throw that in there because the Queen of Wands is awesome. Okay, so I think I'm done. That's the Two of Wands. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all the images as usual. We could go backwards at this point to the Ten of Cups, which is the last decan of the astrological year, also ruled by the Queen of Wands and Mars. Or you could go forward and look at the Three of Wands. Or you could look at Aries. I don't know. It's up to you. Those videos aren't made yet, so you may have to wait. As always, thank you very much for watching. This is the Hidden Hermit. See you later. Bye-bye.